Why being treated like this? Look at how whites are treated. Look at Derater. That man committed the most grievous incompetence. I mean, look how many days we were on load shedding. Yes. How many billions of diesel did he burn? The president had a case to answer because he violated Section 96 of the Constitution. You can't be an executive and do work and expose yourself to a risk. We don't even have to prove risk. You are exposing yourself to a conflict of interest. And he agreed. There's recordings where he says yes.
Hello guys, welcome to myself Simon Show. Today we have an incredible guest, someone that I love so much. We learn a lot from her. She's a former public protector, now the current member of MK Party. Hi, Mahoy.
I'm good. And thank you so much, Marcelo, for inviting me. And yeah, look forward to engage with you and your viewers.
It's an honor to have you. I remember back in 2016 on Ezbulumbet, on Ikwekwezi, the lady who was working there was saying so many nice stuff. Hey, someone who's from KwaNdebele will represent us well in the Office of Public Protector. Today, to sit with you, it's an honor.
Yes, indeed. I'm from KwaNdebele, KwaGafontein.
Yes,
yeah, but now, yes, not far from your home. You said Denelton. Yeah, so I've got a sister who stays around Denelton. But the good thing about that, coming from KwaNdebele to represent, is that abantwana or kids who are growing up from the rural areas, they can see as well that you might be growing up from KwaGafontein, but it's possible as well that you can achieve and reach an office like that of the public protector.
Yes. Man, now you have joined MK Party a few days, I think it's 2 or 3 days ago. What led you to that decision to say, you know what, I need to move away from EFF to MK Party?
I would say, remember after the persecution by the Parliamentary Ad Committee, and EFF, ATM, UDM were very much, I would say, supportive because they wanted to see fairness. They wanted to see justice happening. And after they voted for my removal on the 11th of September 2023, then I was approached by EFF to come, work with them, considering my expertise as the public protector and on issues of good governance, issues of working with the grassroots, conflict resolution, mediation issues. So then I decided to agree to work with them. And then whilst working with the EFF, then my husband, Ubabus Kosan, is an ANC person. And also I was saying to him, you can't continue being an ANC. The very same ANC which persecuted me, the very same ANC which were in cahoots with the DA. The first GNU, Dr. Hlope would say it was done against me by the coalition to remove me because their numbers were in such a way that they can remove me. So then I joined EFF and MK came into being 16 December 2023. My husband joined MK instead of joining EFF. So now we have MK and EFF. It was fine. It's fine because the policies of MK and EFF are not far apart. And I mean, remember, they are a progressive caucus in parliament and all those. So when I then faced a lot of challenges, because challenges I'm still facing since the issuance of the CX report against the Reserve Bank. I then, the court challenges, the taking the removal to court, to the Supreme Court of Appeal. The judgment was issued against me, and you remember that negative comment by Judge Bunan and all those. On the other hand, the issue of the gratuity, the judgment also was negative against me, and the costs which I must pay. Being a person who's no longer employed, with the salary of being an MP, you can't pay costs. I mean, being an MP, you earn, MPs are not paid that much. You earn like almost the chief director in public administration. And on top of that, as an EFF public representative, you need to then empower your constituency. You need to, when you go wherever you are deployed, you need to help the constituency with whatever resources you have. On the other hand, my husband is with MK,
Yes.
and they are busy saying, he's been saying, come to MK. So then I decided, you know what, with these challenges, and as well using same resources as a family, and again in our culture, it comes to the fact that the head of the household is with MK. There's no harm in joining him.
So you are saying to me, Uguti, like if Ubabus Kosan was not part of MK, there were zero chances for you to join MK?
I would not really per se. The other pressing issue is the issue of their policies, and I think as well the issue of saying possibly not working in Cape Town, because now you've seen I'm being deployed in Mpumalanga to be the convener. I'll be the head of the years, which is home. And again, remember I said I want to spend more time with family. And Cape Town, you travel on Monday evening, you come back Friday, you have short time with family. I've got children, I've got grandchildren, and all those. So it was going to be worse if he was not MK or member of parliament as well, because it would just create a lot of tension in the family. So I consider that. And family is very much important. I would say that because family has been with me through and through. I mean, being attacked left, right, and center. And my husband was behind me all the way. My children, my sisters, brothers. So I think they take priority more than anything else.
You mentioned the issue of gratuity as we were talking. When you look into it, I know there's a statement that you once released, which for some extent you said you were misconstrued, misinterpreted when it comes to the Indian community. People on the mainstream media, they were saying you are kind of being like attacking the Indian community. So when it comes to the issue of gratuity, when you look into it, you reflect, it was supposed to be like 10 million. When you look into it now, they're refusing to give you that kind of amount. When you look into it, what is the most or the real reason why they're refusing to give you your gratuity?
Maybe let's start by saying a public protector, like the former public protectors, Parliament approved the conditions of service of the public protector, that when you serve 7 years non-renewable term, you are entitled to this gratuity. And they even show how it's calculated on vacating office. They don't explain that how you vacated office. Now, the current public protector, Advocate Galega, is saying no, because I was removed, therefore I'm not entitled to that gratuity. Whereas the issue is on vacating the office. Doesn't say whether dismissed or whatever. In the first place, any other public servant, when you are working and you are dismissed, public service, pension administration, they do pay you, but then you are penalized for the fact that you were dismissed. You understand? So they never did it like that. And media, again, the way mainstream media is so ruthless and so disingenuous. I don't know where they got that 10 million. because at the end of the day, that calculation was never done. It's them who said it's 10 million J, just like that. I don't know how they calculated that. So, but the fact of the matter is that that money, 10 million, if that's 10 million, remember tax, there's that tax bracket, they will take around 45% of that money. And it won't be even be that particular 10 million. But then now the courts have said, no, I'm not entitled to that, which we will be appealing. Advocate Mpofu is helping, and I've been saying to the public as well, because there's that wrong perception that Mpofu is milking my finances and other. In the first place, when I was a public protector, all those black advocates and attorneys, they were charging lesser fees, because they understood when we say we don't have the resources. Secondly, after that, there are a number of cases we did pro bono and not charging Advocate Mpofu and the junior advocates, Advocate Matlape and Advocate Shabalala, because they are fighting for justice. They want to make sure that any person who's persecuted by the system, they assist. So there's nothing like that, I was going to get the money and it's 10 million, the SARS on the other side. And we're still, that office, with their evil intentions, I would say, they even came back and said, no, we are raising a debt against you. When you were public protector, why did you sue the DA for calling you a spy? Because I took that matter to court. They withdrew it, Ugaleka, and they want me to pay those costs in office. There was a threat on my life. There's a report by police where the security threat assessment, I was moved from my house after there was damage to my property and the risk involved. I was moved to a state house, and Public Works ended up charging a lot of money to Public Protector South Africa. I ended up saying, no, let me move from this house, state house, and move to a smaller place. The current CEO even signed the lease agreement because she's the accounting office. Now they are coming back because I'm out of the office. They say, no, it's me who must pay that money. You know, and it's up to, I think, around 5 million.
Yeah.
The evilness of the treatment I'm receiving.
So you and Hlaudi Mtheneng, you share common challenges.
That's. I mean, you wonder why being treated like this. Why, look at how whites are treated. Look at the Raider. That man committed the most grievous incompetence. I mean, look at how many days we were on load shedding.
Yes.
How many billions of diesel did he burn? Yeah, but when we left, he was given a handshake. After how many people have lost their lives, lost their jobs? Farmers, I mean, there's millions and millions they've lost, because when you are a farmer and you are exporting fruits, there's a time limit in which they need to be stored a harbor before they are shipped. They lost billions. But that person got their payment. Again, it's how black people we are being treated compared to our white counterparts.
You always mention already you are being persecuted, and in other forms of persecutions that the state is persecuting you, or the current government and the previous administration, as for you, like to make sure like you run out of money. So do you think this refusal of your gratuity is one of the things, okay, let's make her to lack resources?
Definitely, which I don't have those resources in the first place, because possibly they are succeeding. Where do I get the resources? I mean, if you are paid money from hand to mouth, I've got family, I've got the living expenses. Indeed, there was one judge who said, no, let's actually, before my removal, saying the best way is to bankrupt me. You know, that's why the personal costs the Reserve Bank. First time the Constitutional Court issued personal costs against the constitutional institution. Luckily, there were NGOs like about Democracy in Action young men like Abotabo Mtsweni from Kwagafontein who mobilized. They used their NGO to mobilize funds for me, because where would I have got that 200 and something thousand to just pay being a public servant? They paid that money. And then from there, the personal costs after personal costs. In the Freede matter, the investigation by Madonsela, and she never issued the report. During the testimony, section 194, she said, no, I never issued a report. But the judge told me, Bokasak and DA, they took the matter to Pretoria High Court, and it was fashionable. They clobbered me with personal costs. Where do I get the money? Which I tried to make ends meet. Utuli said, she never issued a report. Laba were clobbering me with personal costs that I changed the report.
Yes.
I've got evidence to show that this is the evidence where the judges were also very much compromised against me. The issue is state pillars, your judiciary, your executive, which is ministers and president, and your legislature. The way the Section 194 committee, which had members of parliament, were not very fair, because then that's what they did. So that was what is choreographed, and it's a persecution. Phala, if you are a refugee, you are persecuted by the state. There's nowhere where you go, where you get protection. Even now, after leaving EFF, the only way is for me to go back to politics. I can't be employed by any institution, because to them I'm this incompetent, controversial. There's nothing which must be brought nearer to me because of this issue. Yoguti, touching the Reserve Bank, you are fighting the world system. Palamau touch the banking system. Yes. And that's what happened. I've got evidence as well where I was discussed, even in New York, you must get rid of that woman, where foreign intelligence was also after me, because of why do I have to deal with such, and why interfere with the Reserve Bank? Whereas I was not interfering. It's an organ of state. The public protector has jurisdiction over them. So we were investigating why that transaction was done the way it was done, an investigation which was left by my predecessor. She never completed it for the past 5-6 years. The Freede investigation, it was also done by my predecessor. She never completed it. There's also that trend and pattern. But with personal costs. Yeah.
What is your relationship with the current public protector now?
I don't know, because Mina, I don't have issues, but it means she has issues.
Because she the time you were the public protector, she was working with you in your office, right?
Exactly. And Mina, to me, I thought she's my deputy, because she's appointed through the process, the parliament as well. And then we're working together. I'm delegating her work. There were signs which were showing the way she was behaving, but I never took them serious. For me, it was like, it's work, we are protecting the public. But she had other intentions here. Because, if the Phala Phala investigation, after I was suspended, she completed it, and then she cleared the president, contrary to the Executive Members Ethics Act.
Yes. Do you think, if you were still the public protector right now, the findings and the direction of the Phala Phala saga would have been different?
It was going to be the same as what the former Chief Justice Ngcobo said. The president had a case to answer, because he violated Section 96 of the Constitution. You can't be an executive and do work and expose yourself to a risk. We don't even have to prove risk. You are exposing yourself to a conflict of interest. And he agreed. There's recordings where he says, yes, I'm in the business of selling cows. And actually, I would want to be the president of Angola. I don't even want to be the president of the country. There's evidence where he says that himself. But when now you come and exonerate him, SARS says, they say no. Firstly, they say they were not declared, but they don't do anything about that. Reserve Bank say the transaction was not completed. What is that? And when as an ordinary person, if you are found with dollars under your mattress, you are arrested. I mean, look at how many people are arrested if you have a certain amount of currency, rands. Worse if you have foreign currency.
I think they say you are not allowed to have like 20,000 rand.
25,000 rands. So you can imagine.
$500,000.
Even more than that, and nothing is happening. Not only dollars, apparently there were even euros and Botswana currency. So, yeah.
Ma, when you came into the office, there was investigations of what is termed state capture. And when I was listening to Duduzane when he appeared before the Zondo Commission, according to what he says, he said that he was not like given a fair chance like everyone else to say, okay, we are seeing here, you are appearing, your name is appearing in the investigation. Come and narrate to us what happened. And when you look back into that, of course, you didn't like have much contribution into it. But as the public protector, when you look into how the other public protector before you did the investigation, do you think that the Duduzane situation specifically was handled in a partial manner?
You know, I would say the way that investigation was conducted, it was contrary or not done according to the standard operating procedure of the organization, in the sense that the investigation should have been, I mean, all those people should have been issued with what we call actually the letter to them to say, we are investigating this matter. Indeed, your name is appearing. Tell us about your side of the story. How do you know Tony Gupta or whoever? Ryan Mulife, for instance, the same thing happened. They were supposed to send letters to them, give us all the evidence, and apparently that's what they did. But then, if you then find that, you know, these people are implicated, because the Public Protector Act is clear that if we suspect that you might be implicated and you've got a case to answer, then it's a second letter we issue to you. We call it it's a notice. We say to you, we have this evidence with us. You told us that you know Tony Gupta as follows and whatever, but then we have uncovered this evidence. Then tell us why we shouldn't find against you. That was never done for Duduzane and others, and Abu Prime Mulif. Then after they concluded that report, then they said, no, my remedial action as a public protector, the president must allow the Chief Justice to appoint a judge to conduct a commission, encroaching on the powers of the president, because Section 84 is very clear. Only the president can establish a commission. Now you even go further. You are instructing the Chief Justice to appoint a judge to do that. It means even the very same issue you say you're doubting the judiciary. So the way it was done, unfortunately, it was a concern. And it was such a choreographed process, because with all those recommendations, the court, Judge Mlambo, said nothing wrong for the public protector to refer the matter for the commission to be established, to instruct the Chief Justice to do that and whatever. But when I issued the report in the CR17 to say the NPA should investigate the criminal elements of the CR17 transaction, then they found Mlambo, again contrary to what the powers were given to the public protector, said no, I can't do that. So you see, Uguti, it depends on who was the public protector and who is appearing before the courts, which determines how the process should be done. So it was not a proper way. He was supposed to be given an opportunity to present his side of the story. And again, when you investigate as public protector, you don't just believe in what the media is saying. much as the judges, you cannot pick up what the media is saying. You should be having evidence that indeed we've got these bank records, we've got these telephone conversations, because we have the powers to subpoena all that evidence. Why was that not done? You see?
I had Mr. Saudi Mtsining on the show, and in his words, exactly what he said. He said, there is no state capture. There was no state capture. You know, he said in continuation, he said, if you are a president yourself and you come with commissions, it means that you are corrupt yourself. If you have a case, there's no need for commission. Let the person go to court and the investigation will be done, and then they have to answer in the court. Do you agree with him that there was no state capture?
What is state capture in the sense, Yoguti? State capture is we need to just focus on the crime. You understand? As a public protector, we should have investigated that the president is exposed himself to a conflict of interest. He shouldn't have maybe engaged with the Guptas on the following sort of, why establish and encroach and say there must be a commission of inquiry, and then on top of that you spend up to R1 billion for a commission of inquiry which doesn't issue any binding remedies, only issue recommendations. Depends whether those are implemented. You've wasted R1 billion. For me, I said even during my tenure as public protector that I will never issue a report or remedy that there must be a commission of inquiry. Hence the report on CX. When I issued the Section 7(9) to the President, to the SSA, National Treasury, it had the draft of Madonsela, had the issue of establishing a commission of inquiry to investigate the Bank of Absa looting. Ne? They responded, the presidency, to say the matter of the State Capture Commission is still before court. Therefore, can we make sure that you don't issue the same recommendation? But again, the issue of issuing that recommendation will go against what the powers of the president are in terms of the constitution, which I agree with. For me, I think issues Zama Commission of Inquiry, it's a waste of resources. State capture, there's nothing in law where we say the state capture. It's corruption. There is a law which deals with corruption, a PRECA. There is money laundering provided in poker. It's a crime. Therefore, we cannot just come, because that's what I was saying, we portfolio committee to NPA and them, this is state capture, but it's a crime. It's a crime. It's a crime. Don't just balloon this. And when you investigate a corruption as a police and hawks, you go for the evidence. You follow the money. You follow the bank statements. You follow the communication properly. And then you present your evidence. The person must be facing the law. So I think the issue of the influence by business and capital over government is there, and it's called corruption. There's a corrupter and a corruptee. And yes, they term it state capture, but it's a crime. And it's currently happening because most of the beneficiaries or the donors of the CR17 have big contracts in government. And again, a lot of the times they persecute black professionals, black CEOs, and they leave the very same huge companies which are employed by the state, national treasury. They spend trillions on procuring services for government. Who's benefiting? You understand? Because the issue of the Guptas, remember as well, it was blown out of proportion at ESCOM that the Guptas have captured, but they were only providing apparently 3% of coal. Who was providing the 97%? Currently, who's providing? Where are they buying the diesel? Because they've spent up to possibly $1 trillion on diesel,
and
banning diesel.
On the issue of ESCOM, the design told me like they were selling, I think it was part of the company that was selling coal to Eskom, saying they were selling at a cheaper price than any other companies that were selling coal to Eskom.
But remember, Brian Molefe, that's why he was dealt with harshly. You remember he said it, that Glencore was charging, or they wanted to charge for 400 and something per ton. And apparently the Eskom was saying, no, we can only pay the others, like Nabo Optimum and whatever. I think they were paying lesser, 150 or whatever.
Yeah, so
now,
much lesser.
Exactly. Now you are persecuted for that, just because the capitalists must benefit, and they were treated like this. So basically, that's how the country has been run. That if you are a black professional, young, a business person, a professional, trying to do your work, you must just be dealt with harshly. But then you come being derated or beholder because you are white, nothing will happen to you.
Do you think, looking at all the trials and tribulations that you are going through, do you think if you had allowed yourself to succeed certain funds, accept certain funds, and just stay in the course of the action, you wouldn't be facing what you're going through now?
I wouldn't. If I allowed myself to be told, I mean, remember as well, I was accused that I didn't want to have a handover from my Matanzela, where when I joined the office, automatically I was expected to appear in Parliament. I said, send it in writing, the team will brief me. And then that was an issue in the first place. Secondly, possibly I was supposed to be told that don't touch here, I don't know. But then I investigated and issued that report to ABSA. I was not supposed to touch banks. I've investigated the late Godan. I was not supposed to touch Abu Godan because it was like I'm persecuting him. Hence the issue of Indians. Because I was saying there's a pattern. And I'm not saying all Indians are like that. But I mean my persecution and my removal, all of them are Indians. And it's there. It's not to say I'm against Indians. And there's statements which were issued by some Indians saying, why are you saying this person is racist or tribalistic or whatever? Because there's nothing untoward here. Those people are Indians. And indeed, if there's a pattern, why persecute her? And I said it, that I'm not generalizing, and I have a freedom of expressing myself, and I'm not creating any conflict in the country. I'm just saying, this is the proof, and this is what happened to me as a person. So I think I would say that is the state of our country.
Man, there's so many things that are going on in the country right now. But one of the things that keeps me worried a lot is the issue of food poisoning. A lot of kids are dying right now. I saw there's a clip I watched, I think 2 days ago. The Limpopo Department of Education has suspended selling of food within school premises, even outside the gate. As a member of the MK party, and obviously you'll be working around in Mpumalanga, what are some of the initiatives that, obviously this is home, you need to protect the young people? I've seen that you have visited Siyabusa, if I'm not mistaken, even Flanglachte, or what other? Yes.
Yeah, when I was doing oversight, yes. You know, that issue is very much concerning. Remember, firstly, it was said to be the shops owned by Pakistanis, Bangladeshis. I think this country, we have a problem of having good laws, but not enforcing them and implementing them. There you go, Home Affairs. What is the status of those Pakistanis, Bangladeshis? And if they are legal in the country, they must have business permits. What are you doing as municipality? Because you've got bylaws. Are you allowing them to operate? And when they operate, bylaws requires you to even check the health standards. the food they are selling there, is it expired and everything, and the content of whatever they are selling, because you have health inspectors as well, which needs to deal with this issue. Now, if you are an SMME or you are a South African, you are selling around the schools, you are not solving a problem by removing those small businesses.
Yes.
Now, how are they?
Exactly,
their families are going to survive. The issue there is also make sure they are registered, make sure that they procure from reputable places where they can buy food. And for your information as well, it's not only Pakistanis and that. Because now go ShopRite, you do find that they also sell expired food.
We had the issue of listeriosis.
Exactly. What was done? And why do we have listeriosis when we have health inspectors? What were they doing? So again, normally we just deal with the crisis, but we don't deal with the root causes, because it's failure to do the work by public servants. So the best way is for us to make sure that they are properly registered, they are properly paying tax, they are selling the food which meets the proper health standards. What's stopping the health inspectors to check regular checks? Home Affairs, are those people legal in the country? Are they Department of DTI? Are those people having business permits if they are reaching a certain threshold? So that's what we need to do, because as members of parliament, even provincial legislature, it's our role as well to conduct our inspections to such places, make sure that we hold the departments responsible, go and check, go and make sure that you do your work properly. So I've seen that, I think ATM has lodged a complaint with the Public Protector to investigate. Public Protector doesn't have jurisdiction over those private individuals, but I think they need to look into what did the relevant departments do against these individuals. Home Affairs, what have you done? Are they having papers? Department of Labor even must come in, because the issue of occupational health and safety in those places where that food is provided. And then the issue of the operating licenses. Are the bylaws being implemented? So that's all what needs to happen. But I think it's a very serious issue and a crisis. But again, it's concerning. Uguchi, this thing is like, it's also choreographed. Remember there was taverns.
Yes, massacres.
Massacres. Then all of a sudden, then there's a partnership with some Bill Gates or American company about them, or what is that, Heineken. Then now having places to sell alcohol in townships. I don't know what is this leading to. And I think small business and administration, they should also be very proactive in making sure that if they establish businesses for SMMEs, they establish well, properly structured places to do that. Yeah.
But as MK, so far you have been, maybe it might be too early, but in one of the things that maybe you have in mind as an MK member dominating in Mpumalanga, are you maybe thinking of taking measures to make sure that these kids here are safe from this?
No, definitely. Definitely. That's why I'm saying to you that it's our responsibility, because in the province as well, as members of the legislature, we need to have a program where we will have to do oversight, and we will have to hold the people who are providing the services or those who are supposed to conduct compliance, safety and security, health, and all those, and the bylaws from the municipal side are implemented. Schools, how do we make sure to those mothers who are selling there, they are properly registered, they also are advised to buy from reputable places, they don't even sell things which are not, because I remember the Verena story, is it Verena or Brongo somewhere, that lady who was saying, I was mixing alcha or whatever, chili, now those kids got sick. I think staying away from things which are not properly regulated. Stick to the normal food, which is safe and fresh, you know.
One of the people I have interviewed, Prof. Mamkhwebane, a few days ago, she posted something I would like to have your thoughts on. She posted, she called it venting on Facebook. She wrote a very long paragraph, but in summary, what she was saying is that why other countries, as a South African, when you go to them, you have to apply visa. And when these people from these countries come to South Africa, they don't need any visa. She was saying that they're not doing us any favor. We are not a charity case. They're coming here because they have interest in their country. There are things that they want to learn. There are things that are interested in coming and do some activities. So same thing should apply for them when they come here. They should apply for visas. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with her 110%. I'm an immigration specialist. I worked in China for 4.5 years, and I worked in international law space. It's because we don't have leaders who are very people-centered, people who care about their citizens or their community. I'm saying that, you can't be dictated to by the West or be a puppet of other countries. You are allowed to negotiate a visa agreement, and you need to say, if it's UK and I must apply for visa to go to UK or US and stringent requirement, I must reciprocate. You're allowed in international law to do that. I must also say, I demand a visa from you as a UK citizen. So you'd find that other countries then, they will say, you don't need a visa for a diplomatic and an official passport, but for a citizen you do that. If we have to be required a visa in your country, when you come to our country, we do the same. Why not? I mean, I remember there are African countries which do that. I mean, Namibia recently, I think they did that. I don't know which country was it. I remember also there was a story of Rwanda as well, demanding that it's a quid pro quo. It's supposed to be like that. I agree with her, 100%. But then then we are faced with a situation where we have leaders who are just begging and they don't have the interest of the public at heart. I mean, I've seen the controversial thing by this Minister of Home Affairs saying he signed something with Ukraine and whatever. What's that? I mean, now the president is saying no, the presidency by the spokesperson, no, the president has not yet signed and stuff like that. It depends on my interest, whether are we doing that. That is a very controversial issue because our foreign policy is saying Russia is our strategic partner and we have aligned ourselves with Russia. Now, when you come back and you do this, I see even Lamula is meeting the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Yes, we need to meet with them, but on the other hand, each country has interest in another country. What is our interest in that particular country? When we have stories of seeing blacks being killed, you remember,
in foreign countries,
especially even in Ukraine, there was something like that. But then at the end of the day, I agree with her, 100%.
Ma, when you look at this GNU that the ANC government has initiated, so far, looking at how things are in the country, is it working? Or we really needed to be as a country, looking at the history of our country, looking at the state of the economy, how things are running, did we really to go through that way?
It's the worst ever. I mean, that's the West selling out. I mean, yesterday they were celebrating R10, and somebody who also was one of the so-called freedom fighters. I don't know Uguti where he is, how he feels. You can't go into bed with the oppressors. I mean, DA is totally racist. Anything they do, they just do what benefits white people, white interests. They will never bother themselves in what benefits you as a black person. I mean, we've seen in Tshwane, that Brink and them, for 8 years, EDA has been there. They never cared about the locations, and people were dying of cholera and everything. Sunnyside is filthy. They don't care. As long as they make sure that their white suburbs are fine, they maintain the spatial exclusion, like what was done in the past, that we must stay in villages and then they stay in town and stuff like that. I mean, they are strong opposition to Bela Bill. I mean, Bela Bill is saying admission policy. Every child must be admitted anywhere. Not to say some old grannies, the SGP, my parents blocking blacks to be admitted to the school. They don't want that. You understand? The issue of language, they will just impose Afrikaans, and when a child has failed, Afrikaans has failed. Is that fair for some other child? I mean, they also should be learning and speaking Isizulu, and everything like that. So that GNU, it's a lost cause. I mean, Minister for Education, who's supposed to implement Bela Bill, is not even attending the signing. What do you call that? So, and then this time, the president who said Russia and is saying Russia is our strategic partner. Ngapustien is and Helen Zila saying that's not us. That thing is not working, and it's DA and ANC actually. It's not even a GNU. They will come Bona and protect it and say there are 10 political parties, but the leading, actually DA is calling the shots through the ANC. And that's the worst ever, because
that's where I was coming, because I wanted to say maybe the reason why DA is always behaving in certain ways because they want to prove that they're the ones who are in charge.
Yeah, they are in charge. It's true. They are in charge. Definitely they are in charge. And they are the owners of media. They are the owners of the economy. And they will do as they please. And on the other hand, you give them positions, whereas you needed as ANC that political will, work with the MK and the EFF. We could have constituted government and make sure that we get 2/3 majority. We change the constitution. Remember, now they are saying, when we speak about expropriation of land without compensation, the issues of this constitutional supremacy, it's unconstitutional. And we'll have the 2/3 change this constitution. Because currently, who's leading and controlling this country? It's those 11 judges of the Constitutional Court. And people didn't vote for those judges. People voted for members of parliament because we stay in those villages. We know what is happening. And people, when they tell us, we need to change the laws and the constitution to suit whoever is there, on the ground.
But the coalition, it's not the first time happening. In 1994, the first black government did the same thing. What is different between this new one and the 1994 one?
The 94 one was provided for in the constitution, that they will have a government of national unity. And remember, ANC was even it had the 2/3 majority during Mandela's time. So remember, and they were just doing this to reconcile after that tragic past. Now, what are you reconciling when you failed 30 years when as ANC to govern, and there are black parties like MPK and EFF? Why not work with them? And worse still, you allow, and you are seeing the funders like Oppenheimer and foreign funders who are continuing to destabilize your country. The issue of divide and rule, creating smaller parties so that you don't have the numbers. But the good thing is that they've exposed themselves. They got 39 point something. And with the next elections, they will go downstream, because you can't have a family who has lost their loved ones, who was killed, who was maimed, who was never, a young person who never worked, in their life, and you never had a flushing toilet, you never have anything, you then go back to the very same people and you are in bed with them. How do you expect people to vote for you? And you threaten people with 350 pension money. And it's not their money, it's the state money, because any person who is in government can be able to make sure that they provide for that. So I think we have a serious challenge as well, because another challenging issue is our young people who are not so distancing themselves from politics. And what they don't understand is that everything you do is politics.
I agree.
Bread is politics. You are unemployed in politics. The 350 is just to brainwash you and just give you those crumbs, and you think that they care for you.
I agree that everything is politics. On the other hand, I agree why young people are distancing themselves from politics. It's a very dangerous space. Look at Bonyinkosi Kanyelo, who's a member of MK Party. If you look at how he stepped in as a very strong activist, he got arrested, he wrote his exams in prison, and the state made sure he doesn't through graduating, after graduating, it doesn't work the way he wanted to. Look at the likes of Mkhwebane. He was a very strong political young man. The state made sure that he doesn't practice law. You look at others, even this year at Vets, where I attend school, there are other young people who currently are going through court cases. So if you come as a strong activist, young person who's trying to bring black consciousness, empower young people to love politics, and it's okay, let's fight for the right cause, the state will make sure that you end up nowhere. You leave your village, you say, I'm here to better myself so that I can work and take my family out of poverty, my parents. At the end of the day, you have a criminal record.
Those people will go down in history. Unfortunately, we will have our Steve Biko, we'll have our Chrisani, we'll have our Mama Winnie Mandela, we'll have ourselves, because it's about sacrifice. If Tupman said it, that I tried to free a lot of slaves, but some of them didn't realize that they are even slaves, And the issue with Tina as black people, there's that thing when you try to liberate them, they are the ones who will just make sure that they backstab you. But now, what must we do? Continue to be enslaved. Continue not to do anything. What you can do, even if you are not out there and speaking, on a criminal record and can't do anything, remember, where fees must fall. So those are the challenges which we are facing. So I would say register to vote. And when you register to vote, make sure that you vote for the party which can assist you to be out of that. Vote, don't just say I'm not interested, because when I was doing it door-to-door, EFF, I was doing a lot of work on the ground. Went to University of Mpumalanga and others. Young people, they are not even registered to vote. Yes, we are not in politics. Yes, I'll feel fun, but then register to vote and vote for MK. You understand? Because if you believe EMK will do
I
something,
agree to register to vote, not agree to vote MK. Vote what you want to.
But then if you vote what you want to, you can't continue voting for the NC. The very same one, a situation why vote for the DA? Why vote for the small parties? Action SA nabo banban. Ubonile ukuthi bafandwa abo IFP, Oppenheimer. Will Oppenheimer have an interest on you? And uzogidela saka, whoever feeds you, we also backshile skin. Good how you dance.
In closing, I would like to quote one of my high school teachers. Back in 2019, I was doing grade 12, 2018, grade 11. During that period, he used to he came up with a certain code. He will say it as a joke, but when you look into it very deeply, there's a sense of truth in it. He was saying, Bantwana bam, you know, ANC has failed us. That's him. Like ANC has failed us for the past like more than 20 years. If the freedom fighters who died while fighting for freedom bangavuka manje and see what's going on in their country. That's how bengilwele yona lento lena, ngafela yona lento lena. Abo Steve Biko buzobuza ukuthi bengifele yona lento lena. Athi they will say I would rather die again than to live and see what's happening. You know,
no, it's true. As I said even earlier, I mean, yesterday they were at R10's birthday celebration, and it's just an embarrassment. I mean, they can't even explain it themselves. No, MK said this one said, go back to MK and EFF and let's work and let's liberate our people. You know, these people, they forget again, they are selfish because they've got families, they've got kids, they've got grandchildren. And this is what they are creating. They will depart the earth. And my grandchildren,
they will inherit wealth. They have businesses, a lot of them.
No, that will go down the drain. Shame. They will reap the painful things they did to us. But you remember Zomuntu as very pants. That wealth is a shabalala like nothing.
Thank you so much, Ma. I know there's a lot like you could be doing, but you chose to sit with me. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Always cherish that.
Thank you.